Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's exciting webinar on customizing the user interface of your CAD software. In today's fast-paced design environment, having a customized CAD interface can dramatically enhance your productivity and streamline your workflow. Whether you're an architect, engineer, draftsman, or designer, tailoring the UI to your specific needs can save you time and reduce your frustration. My name is Ava Chuan. I'm a pre-sales solution consultant at BricsCAD, and my experience lies within the AEC industry. I am a civil engineer with over 7 years of experience before joining BricsCAD, and I'm thrilled to be presenting this webinar and to share with you some valuable insights today. It's important to remember that a one-size-fits-all approach to your CAD workflows can limit efficiency. Each company or even each project has unique requirements, and workflows must be adaptable to meet these needs effectively. Many CAD users find themselves spending too much time navigating through a cluttered interface, searching for the tools that they need. By customizing your UI, you can prioritize the tools and features you use most frequently, creating a more efficient and user-friendly workspace. By the end of this webinar, you will have the knowledge to create a tailored CAD interface that suits your workflow, enhances your productivity, and makes your design process more enjoyable. We encourage your participation to make this session more interactive and beneficial to everyone. Please do ask questions and share your experiences in the chat, and we will address them at the end during the Q&A. Don't worry in case we do not have time to address them today. We will gather all your queries and send a follow-up email afterwards. So, without further ado, let's start the introduction of who is BricsCAD and what is BricsCAD. BricsCAD provides a range of modern mainstream and mechanical CAD, BIM, and collaboration products, which we offer under the brands of BricsCAD and 24/7. The organizations who use our products are spread throughout the world and operate in many different industry sectors, primarily in the building, construction, and manufacturing markets. Our approach is based on four guiding principles: being customer focused, innovative, cost effective, and also providing a flexible approach to the way our products can be used, allowing our customers the freedom to work the way they need to and want to. BricsCAD is part of HEXAGON AB, a 4.35 billion euro revenue technology group. We have over 300,000 satisfied active users in over 110 countries throughout the world. We were established 22 years ago in Ghent, Belgium, which remains our global headquarters. We have a total of 8 offices throughout the world with over 300 employees, and we are supported by an extensive network of specialist partners and resellers. So, where are those 8 offices across the world? Well, with our global headquarters in Ghent, Belgium, we also have regional headquarters in Singapore to support the Asia Pacific area, California for the US and Canada, and Mexico City for Latin America. We also have multiple development centers, each with specific specialized expertise. And there is commercial support in many other places, denoted by the yellow dots. And of course, we have a huge network of partners found throughout the world, offering personalized local support to all of our customers wherever they may be located. So one of our key focus area is the AEC industry, serving sectors such as architecture and construction, and also civil engineering. Here you see just a small sample of our satisfied customers in those markets who have chosen BricsCAD products to help them design and construct buildings and infrastructure faster and more effectively. Another major market for us is the manufacturing industry. So, from household names such as Mazda and Hitachi to specialist manufacturers in sectors like industrial equipment, building products and interiors, scaffoldings, and structural engineering, the innovative BricsCAD product portfolio enables them to solve their design problems faster and deliver quality products in shorter lead times. So our product family can be separated into two distinct categories: 2D and 3D design, construction, and fabrication solutions, and a cloud collaboration solution. And the interesting thing about this is that it is in one platform and everything is in DWG format. BricsCAD, our flagship offering, consists of two license levels: BricsCAD Lite, which is more for the 2D drafting capabilities, and BricsCAD Pro, which includes 3D drafting, parametric modeling, civil, and point clouds. Of course, we also have BricsCAD BIM and mechanical solutions. One thing to note is that since it is an all-in-one platform, you don't have to worry about having different platforms and switching from one to the other. All functionalities of Lite will be in Pro, and BIM has all of Pro and Lite. The same goes for mechanical, which is more for the manufacturing industry. And if you want the full capabilities, BricsCAD Ultimate brings together all the functions of BricsCAD Pro, BIM, and mechanical in a single DWG-based environment. This means that it is uniquely placed to offer the perfect single platform solution for those whose needs span the manufacturing and building worlds, such as building product manufacturers. And the good news is you can do all your customizations in all levels of BricsCAD, whether it be loading your existing CUI files, creating or editing your own customizations, or even using your Lisp routines. And on the other side of our product portfolio, Brixis 24/7 is our cloud collaboration solution for pre-construction planning and execution. It is a simple yet powerful solution designed to connect all project stakeholders through document management, project management, and a common data environment. It is directly integrated with BricsCAD, meaning you can access your model with the cloud directly without having to leave the BricsCAD platform. So, what are the benefits of customizing your user interface? First, of course, we have increased productivity and efficiency. CAD professionals often perform repetitive tasks. Customizing the UI allows users to create shortcuts, toolbars, and menus that cater to their specific workflows. This in turn significantly reduces the time spent navigating through the software. Users can prioritize frequently used tools and commands, ensuring that they are readily accessible. This minimizes the time spent searching for functions and maximizes the time spent on actual design work. Next up, we have enhanced user experience. Customizing the UI to fit individual preferences can make the work environment more intuitive and comfortable, leading to a more pleasant experience. For example, users can adjust color schemes, layout of tools, or set it up in the way that they are used to. And by simplifying the interface and removing unnecessary elements, users can focus better on their tasks without being overwhelmed by too many options. Another benefit would be adaptability to specific industry needs. Different industries like automotive, aerospace, architecture, construction, and other parts of manufacturing have unique requirements. Customizing the UI allows the integration of industry-specific tools and plugins that cater to these specialized needs. Of course, customization also enables the inclusion of custom commands, scripts, and macros that perform specific functions relevant to particular industries or particular projects. With your customized interface, this will also help improve the learning curve for new users. Whether you are new to BricsCAD or even just for new hires or new people in your organization, a simplified version of the interface featuring only essential tools needed to get started reduces the learning curve and helps new users become productive more quickly. In large organizations, a standardized custom UI can ensure that all users adhere to company-specific design standards and protocols, leading to consistency in output. Your customized UI settings can be shared across teams, ensuring everyone is using the same tools and settings, which of course helps maintain consistency across different stages of a project. And last but not the least, This will help enhance the accessibility. Customizable user interface can be adapted for users with disability, like adjusting colors for better visibility or creating larger icons and buttons for easier interaction. And even users with specific needs, like left-handed individuals, can customize their interfaces to suit their ergonomic preferences. So here's a quick overview of what we will cover today. First, we have migrating your existing CUI file. So let's say you have your existing file that you are using in a different CAD software. You can easily bring that into BricsCAD, so we will cover that today. And the next one would be creating your own or editing your ribbon or your workspace. So that includes adding buttons, adding panels, changing button behaviors, adding tabs from scratch, and repositioning or rearranging some of the buttons in the interface. Next up, we have modifying or creating new command aliases or keyboard shortcuts. And last but not the least, customizing your mouse click or your right click behavior. So to start with, we will first tackle the migrating your existing CUI file. So now let's open BricsCAD. So first thing we see when we launch BricsCAD is the launcher dialog. This lets you pick from several workspaces. Brixis has an entire suite of products, including 2D, 3D, civil, mechanical, and BIM. And it's also important to know that the native file format of all these products is DWG. This means that you can simply open other CAD software drawings and work with them. So let's open the drafting workspace and see how it looks like. So the first thing that you will notice as a CAD software user is its familiar interface. BricsCAD features a ribbon interface with different tabs, and panels like Properties panel and Layers panel are also available in BricsCAD. We also have the command line interface, and familiar toggles like eSnap, STrack, and Ortho are available in the status bar. BricsCAD is also command compatible, which makes it ideal for longtime CAD users. So if you want to create a line or a circle, it's all the same commands as well. If you want to see more of the familiar and unique features in BricsCAD, please feel free to reach out to us and we would be happy to do a demo for you. Okay, so let's dive right into the CUI stuff. A lot of you probably already have your customized interface one way or another, possibly a company standard or just your own personal preference. Or maybe you just wanted your ribbon buttons arranged in a way where it complements your workflow, or you want to make certain tools more accessible. That decision is ultimately up to you. So when you want to move from your current software to BricsCAD, one of the first considerations you would probably have would be, can I bring in my current CUI into BricsCAD? And the answer is yes, you can. Don't worry, I know where this conversation is going. Next, you would ask, how can I do that? And the answer lies more in the where should you put it than the how part. It's pretty straightforward. And like I said, the most crucial thing to know is on which folder to put your CUI file. And since this webinar is all about CUI, we will cover that as well. Start by opening the CUI dialog box by simply typing in CUI in the command line, and you will see the location inside your dialog box. So you can see that the location is over here. Another way to open your dialog box is to just right click on your ribbon and just open it here. So if we go to our C drive, so let me just bring in this C drive. So if we go to C drive, you will see here we should go to users, and then you whatever is your username in your machine. And we will next go to app data. So for app data, just make sure that your hidden items are checked in the view tab, because if this is not checked or this is unchecked, you won't be able to see app data. So let's leave that checked. And once we go to app data, then roaming folder, and we have here Brixis, and we have BricsCAD over here. Now you can just go to the version of your BricsCAD and the language. Then we will go to the support folder, and you can paste your CUI over here. So you can see we have a couple of CUIs in here. So let's say we have already um, pasted the CUI that we are currently using. You can now go and click on the ellipsis over here and load in your CUI. Let's say I want to load in this CUI that I have um, pasted in advance. So another way of you bringing in your of loading your CUI is going to the file menu over here and load your main CUI, load your partial CUI, or import your workspace. So once you hit OK, this will refresh in the background, and then your current CUI that you have just loaded will already be applicable in your um, window. So now we have just seen how you can migrate over your existing CUI. Now, what if you just want to tweak the current interface in BricsCAD or maybe build your own from scratch? Now let me show you how this will look like. So in BricsCAD, we have three standard interface settings: classic, modern, and toolbars, which you can see when you click the interface settings button. So you have pretty straightforward options here where you can pick if you want your ribbon to have labels or no labels, light and dark themed, and such. So if we want to create, let's say we want to create this interface, recreate this interface again, let me show you how to do it. So let's start with, let's say if you have the classic interface as your starting point, and I have created a screenshot of this workspace that we want to copy. So let me just position this underneath here. So we have our reference together with while we are creating our um, customized user interface. So I'll just position the BricsCAD window on top and this window at the bottom. And as you can see, there are some things that look the same, like where the line, polyline are, similarly together with where move, copy, and stretch are. However, if you notice, there are certain things that are also not the same, right? So that is where we will do the changes. So what we want to do is to add, remove, or rearrange some buttons that you think would be more suitable for your workflow. Or maybe even as simple as you just want to rearrange it in such a way that this is the order that you're used to. With this, we will start with, like I said, the classic interface. And we will just go to the CUI dialog box to start organizing things. So the customized dialog box has three primary areas, or as we call it, panes. Customize pane, the tools or commands pane, and the properties pane at the bottom. So the customize pane lists the items that can be customized. So the content of this pane varies depending on which tab is selected, whether let's say menu, toolbars, or even shell commands, right? And the tools pane on the right is the list of commands found in BricsCAD, and they are sorted according to menu order. For example, all file-related commands are listed under the file um, entry over here. And at the bottom, we have here the properties pane. So this one shows the properties like the title, diesel code, help text, labels, and the content of this pane varies depending on the tab and the item. So when we click on different areas of our panes, this will show different types of settings or different options. So most of these options are self-explanatory, but if you notice, there are two words that are mentioned the most. It's append and panel. So append simply means that this adds a new item at the end of the list, and insert places a new item before the selected item. So first things first, let's try to save this CUI that we are creating. So let's say I want to rename this as my CUI underscore 2024. So now we have our CUI file that we can now edit or rearrange. So I tend to start with the workspace tab so it's easier to route the process. Since we are working on the drafting workspace, this is the one that is currently expanded. Here you can see your menus, toolbars, panels, and ribbons. Of course, you can change all of these, but let's focus on the ribbon. The ribbon panel shows exactly what ribbons are in the drafting workspace. If you see home, insert, annotate, parametric view, and so on. So it's the same order here as well. So when we double click on home, you will see that we are now moved to the 2D home tab. These ribbon tabs are arranged according to workspace or functions. So the ones that are normally in the drafting workspace are obviously the ones with 2D in front. The ones for modeling are the ones with 3D in front, BIM, civil, and mechanical, and so on. You will notice that most of them have their own versions of usual tabs like 2D home, 3D home, BIM home, 2D insert, 3D insert, BIM insert, etc. So now when we start doing this, you will find that here under the home tab, we have a couple of panels over here. So when we go to the draw panel, let's double click that. You can either double click it or right click to show panel. You will see that you are all again redirected to a different set of list, which is under the ribbon panel. So the first things first, each panel, first thing you will have is a row. Because if you don't have the row, you won't be able to bring in certain tools or commands, which I will show you later on. So um, if we minimize the expansion, you will see that we have line in this single row, we have line, polyline, arc, circle, and another set of panels. So you can see here, we have line, polyline, circle, and arc. That is the main difference. So I can just simply drag and drop it, and then this will rearrange these items now. And then on the other side, we have a little panel over here, which now we want to expand as well. So here you can see that it has 3 rows, which is the same as the item that we are trying to copy. However, this has 6 buttons and this only has 3 buttons. So what you should do is we will just delete all the other ones on the right, which is the second item in your each row. So we'll just simply right click to delete this, this, and this. So now let's take a look on how it looks like, and let's see after clicking OK. So after you click OK, the this will refresh in the background. So if we can see, we have line, polyline, circle, arc, and rectangle, ellipse, and hatch. Okay, so perfect. Let's go to the next one, which is the modify panel. So we'll go again to the customize once again. And of course, you can go straight to from the ribbon tab, but if you are a little confused or you're not sure where to start, just remember to start at the drafting workspace. So what workspace am I in? I am in the drafting workspace. And what do I want to change? The ribbon. Which ribbon tab do I want to change? I want to change home. So after that, we are done with draw. we will now go to modify. So if you can notice here, move, rotate, move, copy, and stretch, and rotate, mirror, scale are the same. However, there is a big button over here, which is copy guided. So we don't really need copy guided right now. So we can just delete this and focus on the panels. So for these 6 buttons, it's the same thing. So we don't have to do anything right now for this one. However, for the next set of panels, we have here trim, fillet, and array. So for trim, you can see here there are a couple of options, which includes the button style, the behavior, the list, and other things similar. So you can see here, this one is a small without text, and what we want is to have it with text. So the options that you have here are small with text, small without text, large with text vertical, and large with text horizontal. So let me show you in a little bit what large with text vertical and horizontal are. But for now, let's focus on small with text. So the same thing for this one, we want to do small with text and the same as here. So if you notice, the first one is trim, the next fillet and array. So for fillet, if we want this to be first, then we can just simply rearrange this in this order. And the next one we have here this array. So this is a different options of arrays. So we can just put in the label that we want. Maybe we want to put in array, right? So the label is what will appear in your ribbon. So maybe for the behavior, we can change it to drop down. You can change it drop down with recent, split, split with recent. So let's try to change it to drop down with recent. If you can see here, this is um, split with recent. So let's check out how this will look like after we hit OK. But before that, let's check out erase, explode, and offset, which is exactly the same here. However, we have another extra panel which we don't really need. So we can just altogether delete this panel. So before we move on to the next panel, let's try to check out how this looks like first so that it will be easier for us to make any changes or amendments. Again, this will refresh in the background and you will see the differences again. So you will see here that we have, if you wanted to split it, the difference between the split is that this will let you click the upper half to execute the most recently command, and then the drop down here would show you all the other options. However, with drop down, this will just show the entirety of um, whatever options you have here. So you can't just directly click this and expect that the tool will be implemented straight away. So next up, maybe we can change this into a just drop down and not drop down with recent so that we can, this will follow according to the label that we have assigned to it. And then after that, we can see that we have text dimension and 3 things over here that are actually the same things, but we just have to change the button behavior. So let's go to customize again. And here we can go to 2D home and let's go to modify and change this one to just drop down and go to annotations, which is 2D annotations. And then let's check out this row. We have here text, multi-line text, and text. Again, if I want this to be the first option, I can just drag that up here. Next up, we have dimension, which is exactly the same thing. We have large with text. So if you can see here, this button style is large with text vertical. So I just want to show you how this looks like if it's a large with text horizontal. And then for the panels, we want to change all these into a small with text button style. So same with the multi-leader, just click small with text. And for this table, it's also small with text. Okay, so let's hit OK again to just check our progress. So now you can see the difference between a large with text vertical and large with text horizontal. And as expected, the small with text for these three items is implemented. So now let's just quickly change this and then go to our layers panel. Let's go to customize once again and go to 2D home, and we are at the annotations panel, and change the dimension button style to large with text vertical. So for the next step, we have here layers. So this will be in under 2D layers. Again, we have the row as our first entry, and then the layers would remain the same. Next, we have a couple of panels one panel with a couple of rows over here. So the first row, we will just remain as is. Then the second one, we have a couple of buttons that we need to change. Similarly with the third row. So for the third row, we know that we don't really need the layer states. So we can just delete this. But we won't delete the row because we will still need this row to add in some of our buttons. So we can see here that the first button is off on the second row and then turn on all layers on the third row. So I will just simply drag and drop it here. Next one would be isolate and unisolate. And then we have here freeze and unlock. And then we have lock and thaw. Come to think of it, it makes more sense if um, thaw goes before unlock. So let's just do that. Here we can see that there is one extra item, and it says change, make object layer current or layer previous. So we can see here that we only need the make objects layer current. So we will just drag that out here and proceed to delete this. Now we want to add the layer match, but we don't have that option here. So we will go to the tools panel and look for layer match. I just want to quickly find this, so I will just use the search option over here and just type that in. And we saw that we can easily see that layer match is over here. So I'll just go back to 2D layers and drag the layer match over there as well. So here, let's just drag it here. And let's not forget to change the button style to small with text and this one as well. So let's try to see how this will turn out. Okay, so we see that the layer button is here and all the buttons are coming out correctly. So this looks perfect. And then let's now move on to the blocks panel. Let's go to customize again. And again, if you're a little confused, you can just start with the drafting workspace once again and go to the 2D home tab. So now we are going to be at the blocks panel. So here you can see that the first item is correct. However, for this one, Blockify is on the next panel, and we want this to be a large button with text. I'll just drag that over here. And if I want to raise this higher, I can also easily put that in here. Okay, so large with text, vertical. Next up, we have here 3 buttons, which is one button for each row, which create block, and edit attributes. So here we have create block, which is as expected. And then we want to bring in edit block over here with a small with text button style. And then we have here edit attributes. So the edit attributes, we want to bring that over here and change this to small with text. As you can see, there are no more other options over here. So we can just proceed to delete the extra row that we have or the extra panel that we have over here. So let's check this out before we move on to the next panels. All right, so we have insert, blockify, create block, and edit attributes. Okay, so that's perfect. Next one, we have properties. We don't really need to change anything for this panel, the same as the groups panel and the utilities panel. However, if you can notice at the end of this, we have drawing compare, which we don't really need on this panel, but we have 2D clipboard, which we still need to add to this panel. So let's just proceed to focus on that. Now, if we go to the 2D home, you will see that there is a compare, so I can just remove this. If I want to add a new panel, I can right-click the 2D home and append panel. So you will see some ribbon options over here. However, if you notice, there is no 2D clipboard ribbon panel over here. So now what do we need to do? We have to create our own panel, which we can easily do here. At the ribbon panels, we just click append ribbon panel. So with the append ribbon panel, you will be asked of three things: label, title, and ID. So the label is, like I said, this is what will appear in your ribbon, and the ID will just identify the item in the CUI file, and the title specifies the name of the selected one. So I'll just put in 2D clipboard, the same as the one at the bottom. And you don't really need to be creative. You can just copy these things over, but the only difference is for ID, it needs to be one word. So I can just remove the space in between and hit OK. So now that we have our clipboard, let's take a look of what tools we need. So we have paste, cut, and I would imagine it's copy. So if we're not sure where it is, I can just search that in through again. And we can see paste over here. So like I said earlier, the first thing you should have is another set of row, because if we try to bring that in, you won't be able to drag that into your panel. So let's just add a row over here. Now let's bring in paste. And after that, let's change the button style. Now we need another small panel over here. So I will just proceed to add a row panel. So we have here by default 3 rows. So it's up to you if you want to delete this or you just want to let it stay. It's not going to change anything. So let's just drag cut over here and copy over here. So we can see here that there is a drop down. I would imagine that maybe this is copy with base. So let's just drag that into here. And if we want to add a split button, we can also do that. So we'll just put that in and put copy clip and copy with base inside the split button. And we can just choose between drop down or split with recent. So I'll just let it stay with split with recent. So let's hit OK and see how this will look like. So if you notice, we have successfully deleted the drawing compare button here, but the 2D clipboard is still not showing up. So what did we miss out? So what we failed to do at this point is to add that into the ribbon tab of the 2D home. So let's just append panel, and now you should be able to see 2D clipboard in your choices and just hit OK. So this one will now show your 2D clipboard. All right, so yeah, so that looks great now. So some of you might ask, hey, if I want to add my own ribbon tab with the tools that I handpick that I use so often, how will I do that if I want them all in a personal tab that I have? So don't worry, we will cover that as well. If we go to the Customize tab once again, we go to our ribbon tab, you will see that There are a couple of tabs over here, but we don't have our own right now, right? So if you go to Workspaces and you go to the ribbon, if you append ribbon tab, it is similar to append panel a while ago. You have to pick something in here. But since we want to create our own, let's go to the ribbon first and then append ribbon tab. So you will be asked of the three similar things. So let's just name this as project 1. I won't try to um, change this into something different. I'll just use the same things for the entries. Now that we have here, we can add our panel. So you can choose to add certain panels that are already available. Let's say I want to add maybe 2D draw panel over here. And another option is to add a completely new panel. For that, we have to create a new panel that will encompass the tools that we want. So again, going to the ribbon panel, we will just append our panel. So let's say I want to put in most used as the label. And for the title, most used items. And similar for the ID. And once this is all good, we can just hit OK. So again, we will add a new row again. So now that you have a new panel, you can proceed to do the same process as earlier. So let's say I want to add some BricsCAD productivity tools. Like for example, I want to add Blockify. So let me just try to find Blockify here. If that is not the option that I want, I will just go here and hit enter once again until I find the one that I am looking for. So here we have Blockify. I can just simply drag that in here, and maybe parametric Blockify. I can also add that in here. Let's try to add a little bit more, like maybe copy guided, move guided, and some drawing optimizations like optimize and drawing health. So if you notice, if we right click here, we still have a couple of options like a split button. So how does a split button look like? You have two options for your split button. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say separator. So let's go to add separator. So how does this look like? You have two options for your separator. One is a line and one is a spacer. So I will use one as a line and one as a spacer so that you will have an idea of how this will look like. So I will just use this to separate some of the options over here. And let's not forget to change these all into a button style that we like. So let's say I want to use large with text for all of these. I can simply do that as well. And once we have our panel over here, we can now proceed to add that into our tab, pen panel, and just look for most used items. Add that in here. And for the workspace, we will just see that we have project 01 now. So once we hit OK, you should see this after the background refreshes. So now we have our new tab with the existing 2D draw panel that we have added, as well as the most used panel that we just created. So as you can see here, we have our separator, which is a line, and a spacer over here. So that concludes how you can create or edit your own existing ribbons. So next up is pretty straightforward. This is how to create or modify your command aliases. So to show you an example, we have to go first to the CUI dialog box once again. And you can access this through the command line or just right-clicking on your ribbon. So we will go to the command alias tab, and you will see here a list of command aliases that are currently in place. And on the right side of the panel, the commands that are available as well. So adding an alias is pretty straightforward. Just click on the add button, type in your preferred alias, or pick the command that you want. And once you click OK, this will be added into your list. You can also pick from the commands on the right panel and click Add, which will bring you over to the Add Alias box. So for this one, let's just add an alias, and you will get a prompt if the alias that you use is already used up, like what happened here. So let's see what it is. So, we see DXF out as DX. So maybe we can just change this alias to DXN. And there we have it. So when we click OK, the command will refresh in the background, and you can use it right away. So let's try it out with one of the command alias that we have just added, which is BricsCAD's Blockify tool, which helps detect similar geometry in your drawing and automatically creates the blocks for you. After this, you can even pick the ones that you want to include or exclude in creating your blocks. And within a few clicks, you can see that we have already created 10 block references. Additionally, if you want to modify your command alias, you can easily do that in the Customize dialog box once again. So let's say we want to change the alias of Blockify from BF to BB. We can just edit that in and change it, and you're done. As easy as that. So the last but not the least of our agenda, we have customizing your mouse click behavior. So let me just maximize this one now. So like the other things that I showed earlier, we will again start with the Customize dialog box. To customize your left click, you can go to the Mouse tab of your CUI dialog box, and here you can add commands for when you want the command to activate on click, shift click, control click, and so on. I won't go into this anymore because I know that most of you are more interested in learning how to customize your right click behavior. So let's go. And by default, here in BricsCAD, we have the quad menu at your cursor when you right click. So we have a couple of options here, but you can easily turn this off in the status bar as well, and doing so will now yield the same behavior as other CAD software. But in case you want to double check your settings, you can just go to settings by typing it in the command line. And here in BricsCAD, the settings are all consolidated in one area, and there is a search bar so you can easily search through it. And the good thing about this is that you don't have to remember where to find each and every setting. So in this situation, what we want to find are the shortcut menus. So I'll just type in shortcut, and we will be able to find this easily here. So once we expand this, we have a couple of options over here. So the most important thing is to make sure that the enable default menu shortcuts is checked. So each of this have different um, functions. Example for enable edit, this is displayed when right click when an entity is selected, or option 4, which is command mode. This is displayed on right click when a command is active, and so on. Excuse me. So again, the most important one is to make sure that default mode is open. And once you have this checked, your right click behavior should behave as expected. Now, if you want to customize the items in your right click, we will, of course, once again, go to the Customize dialog box. Here, we will not go to the Mouse tab. Instead, we will go to the default menus. So we are not going to do anything on the main menus, but on the context menus, we will open the default. And if you remember, this is exactly the order that we have earlier. So let's say that I feel like all these options make up to make the right click menu too long. So what I can do is I can just create a sub menu for this one. So let's say right click, insert sub menu. Let's call this, let's say, clipboard. And once we have that, we can just simply drag all these clipboard tools inside this submenu. So this will not take up too much of our space. Of course, you can also add items or separators or delete some options that you feel is relevant. So let's say for show entities, maybe I want to add in um, other options like isolate entity and hide entities. So I can also create a submenu for this one. Let's say isolate. And once we have that, similar to what we were doing earlier, we will just drag that in here. So this is how it's going to look like once we click OK and the background refreshes. So of course, if you want to insert a separator, you can also do that as well. So once we click OK, again, this will refresh and reflect your changes instantaneously. So you can see here we have clipboard with all these clipboard tools. We have isolate, which shows show, isolate, and hide. And there's an extra separator here because we just added another separator. And then we have all the other options that we did not do anything or we did not move at all. So before we wrap up, let's quickly recap what we have covered today. First, we did the migrating your existing CUI file, which I showed you the location of where you should put your CUI file. Next up, we have creating your own or editing your existing ribbon with adding buttons, repositioning, rearranging, adding some panels, how the button behaviors are, adding your tabs from scratch. And then we also looked at modifying or creating command aliases. And last but not the least, we also looked at how you can customize your right-click behavior. So now I'd like to take a few moments to address any final questions you might have. Feel free to type them into the chat. For those interested in diving deeper, please contact our local partners and resellers, and we would be very happy to arrange a separate session for you as well. Similarly, if anyone is interested in trying out the CUI that we showed earlier, please contact your respective Rix's local partners and resellers. So let me just take a look at um, some, if any questions that we might have. Will this webinar be available to watch again at a later time? Yes. The meeting recording will be uploaded into our YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that as well. And if you have any questions after this session, feel free to send us a message and we will reply to you as well. If we don't have any other questions, we will end this webinar. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to join us today. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties we have experienced earlier. And as a next step, I encourage you to apply some of the customization techniques we discussed today to your own CAD environment. You can experiment with different configurations to find out what works best for you. The recording of today's webinar will be posted on our YouTube channel, so please stay tuned for that. And for those who have yet to try BricsCAD, download your free trial from the website now. Don't forget to check out our upcoming webinars and workshops. We hope you found this session valuable and that it helps you customize your CAD software to enhance your productivity. Wherever you are, we wish you a great day, evening, or night. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Take care and goodbye.